You have 847 contacts in your phone, and last Tuesday, you ate lunch alone. Not because no one was free, not because you forgot to text, but because sometimes, even surrounded by people, something feels missing. That hollow feeling at 2 a.m. when you're scrolling through your phone without actually texting anyone. Right now, in 2025, people your age are the loneliest in recorded human history. That hollow ache, your ancestor felt it too. 50,000 years ago, no phone, no city, no Netflix, 30 people around them every single hour of every single day, sleeping in the same space, eating from the same fire, never more than 10 feet from another human being their entire lives. And still, the same feeling, which means loneliness is not a modern invention. It is a human one, and it has been chasing your species since before language existed. Most people imagine ancient humans like this. A lonely caveman, sitting alone in a dark cave, isolated, quiet, cut off from the world. The reality was the complete opposite. Your ancestors lived in bands of 20 to 150 people, constantly together, every meal shared, every night spent side by side. Personal privacy, as you know it, did not exist. There was no bedroom to hide in, no commute where you could be alone with your thoughts, no apartment where you could close the door and breathe. Just people, all the time, every single day. Robin Dunbar at Oxford discovered something disturbing. Your brain has a hard limit. 150 people. That is your maximum. Ancient humans lived in exactly that number, not by coincidence, by evolution. So your ancestors were never technically alone. And yet, in northern Spain, an unexpected grave, 5,000 years old. One person, buried apart from everyone. No weapons, no tools, just separate. Researcher Mercedes Murillo Barroso from the University of Granada studied the site. Her conclusion was quiet and devastating. This person had died separated, not from their community physically, but socially. Not physically alone, surrounded by people, but completely alone inside. Someone 5,000 years ago felt exactly what you feel at 2 a.m. So why? If ancient humans were always surrounded by their group, what caused the loneliness? The answer is something researchers call social pain. In 2003, psychologist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA put participants into a brain scanner. She had them play a simple virtual game, tossing a ball back and forth with what they believed were two other real players. Then, without warning, those players stopped throwing the ball to them. They just excluded them completely, silently, without explanation. The brain scan showed something that permanently changed how scientists understand loneliness. The part of your brain that registers physical pain, the exact same region, lit up when someone simply stopped including you in a game. Scientists call it the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. The same part that fires when you break your arm fired when someone ignored you. Your brain does not distinguish between being stabbed and being ignored. Now put that same brain in a group of 40 people around a fire, surrounded by every human you have ever known your entire life. And imagine that for reasons as small as a disagreement, a status loss, a rejection, those people simply stop acknowledging you exist. No phone to escape to, no city to disappear into, no strangers to start over with. Just 40 people looking through you like you are not there. That was the most terrifying experience the human brain could have, because in that world, social exclusion was not an emotional wound. It was a death sentence. Researchers estimate a lone human on the open savanna survived less than 72 hours. No group meant no fire. No fire meant no warmth. No warmth at night meant predators. Being rejected by your people was not heartbreak. It was an execution. And your body knew this, which is exactly why rejection hurts, exactly like a broken bone. Your brain evolved to treat social pain as a survival emergency, because for 300,000 years, it was. Loneliness was not a flaw in your ancestors' design. It was the feature that kept them alive. In 2020, neuroscientist Stephanie Cacioppo at the University of Chicago published research that reframed everything we thought we knew. Loneliness, she found, is not the opposite of connection. It is the biological signal that drives you toward connection. The same way hunger is not the absence of food. Hunger is your body demanding food before you starve. Loneliness is your brain demanding connection before you die alone. They repaired broken bonds faster, stayed more useful, gave more, and they survived. The ones who did not feel loneliness strongly, the ones for whom isolation felt comfortable, those individuals drifted from their groups, stopped cooperating, stopped repairing relationships, and they died. Which means every single person alive today is a direct descendant of someone who felt deeply, almost unbearably lonely sometimes. You did not inherit loneliness as a weakness. You inherited it as the thing that saved your family line. The loneliness epidemic your generation is living through right now is not because you are weaker than your ancestors. It is not because something is broken in you. It is because you are running 50,000-year-old software in a world it was never designed for. Your brain still expects 150 people within arm's reach. It still expects shared meals and shared fires and shared danger. It still expects that the people around you know your name, your history, your struggles, and that they are not going anywhere. Instead, it gets 847 contacts and an empty lunch table. That is not a personal failure. That is an ancient brain doing exactly what it was built to do, screaming at you to find your people. And for the first time in human history, finding them is harder than outrunning a predator on the open savanna. Tell me in the comments, when do you feel most lonely? When you are actually by yourself, or when you are surrounded by people? Because your answer reveals something about your brain that most people never figure out. If this one hit differently, subscribe. Every week we go into the parts of human history that explain exactly why you feel the way you feel right now. Next video. Did ancient humans ever feel truly hopeless? The evidence is buried inside a 77,000-year-old cave in South Africa, and what they found there changes everything you think you know about depression.